Hello.
Hello, Jacob. How are you?
Hello. How are you, Nicole?
I'm great.
That's awesome. Thank you for doing this with me. Yeah, I really
Thank
appreciate it.
you. It I
So if you don't mind, I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of do like an intro for the
you
podcast.
absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So welcome everyone, all of my listeners. Basically what I'm doing with this series, this WIM community podcast, is I'm trying to gain perspective from either friends or strangers that I meet on TikTok, like we have here. Just trying to get to know people and mainly stay connected while we're all kind of in lockdown,
Hmm.
because of everything going on. So that's what we're doing here. And today, Nicole from TikTok from Ontario, Canada, correct?
That is correct.
Awesome, awesome. I wasn't sure which direction to start with this, but I think just because I mentioned, we're doing this because we're in Canada, I'm curious on the impact you guys are having up there because you're kind of close to New York, which is kind of an epicenter.
We
So,
are. Yeah.
yeah.
And it's scary, but um a personal confession, I did not
Hmm.
vote for Trudeau. Um
Okay.
but I have appreciated how he has handled this thus far. In my city, we did not actually have a community contacted case until 26. And had we been following the rules, that shouldn't have happened.
Hmm.
But it just goes to show you that, you know, we govern ourselves, and some of us don't govern ourselves too well,
Hmm.
and so it spreads on, and
Gotcha.
it's pretty scary being that close to something that big.
Yeah.
But here in my city, and we're about 2 hours from Toronto,
Okay.
uh, we I think we only have had 32 cases,
Oh, wow.
and I might be overestimating, but it's pretty much lockdown. And now when I say lockdown, it's like not Handmaiden's Tale. We're still allowed out of our houses for
Hmm.
like essentials,
Right.
and we can still, I mean, I go outside every day and we can walk in our parks within distance. They did start breaking up. I think it's
Bigger
happening
groups.
everywhere. I think people are getting stir crazy, and they want to get rebellious.
Right. Right.
And
Yeah.
there's been a couple of times that that's happened, but our law enforcement has been really, really good to stay on top of that. So kudos to them.
That's good. Yeah. Sounds like you guys are, for the most part, a lot better off, at least in your little area there. Only 32 cases. That's really good.
Yeah.
Um, do you guys have like an end date as like in
Um,
terms of the lockdown?
in Ontario, they're calling for the 15th, and then I believe there's going to be a three-tier step out. So there'll be like a step one, step two, step three,
Hmm.
kind of like a rollout process, which I'm
Right.
quite content with.
Gotcha. I think we have something similar. It's like a
Yeah.
four phase thing here. Um, I guess it's across the board for all states, but I know we have like each state has their own um, kind of version of the plan, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I'm in California, and
Oh, lucky you.
yes, very lucky in terms of weather and everything. And I know
Yeah.
people are very they want their beaches, and we haven't
Now,
really had access to them.
right. I
So there's
said that to somebody
protests.
the other day. Like,
Uh-huh.
if this had happened in December, or even before that,
Yep.
I don't think we'd have quite the restless syndrome as we do right now.
You're absolutely right.
But it's the nice weather is here, and we're itching to get out. But
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's been warm over here, and it's that's what we do when it gets warm. We go to the
mm,
beach. But there's tons of like I don't know how the media always portrays it to be probably bigger than it is, but there are big crowds protesting at the beaches across California. So
I know in Canada, our hot spot for protests are in BC.
okay,
They're hitting the streets out there pretty hard.
gotcha,
Um,
gotcha.
but yeah, I'm in Ontario, and
Hmm.
we're still pretty. I'm not saying we don't have, the
Yeah.
crazy people. I'm one of the crazy people, but I'm crazy enough to know like it's a real virus, guys.
Yep, yep. At
Yeah,
least you're not one of those that like, don't acknowledge it for what it is.
right.
Even though it does get blown out of proportion, like, there's a threat here to take
Oh,
into account.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's good that you guys are doing good up there though.
we are.
I
Touch
figured
wood.
that's interesting. You guys say touch wood, we say knock on wood.
Ah,
Uh,
knock on wood. That could just be me messing it up,
no, no,
but
no. I think
yeah.
it's probably a Canadian American thing. I don't know.
There's a lot of those
Those little
issues.
quirks, right?
Right? Yes, yes.
Well, I didn't want to. I don't know. I think we started on kind of a gloomy note with the coronavirus, so let's get that out of the way. And I kind of want to continue on that note, and then we'll get into some positive stuff.
Okay.
But I know
Okay.
you guys just had that incident. I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
The mass shooting in Nova
Mm-hmm.
Scotia.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's way out on the east coast,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Um, and that's what's that? That I think that was your biggest mass shooting in history.
It
Um,
is.
yeah,
It is. Yeah. According to my
that's
knowledge.
very unfortunate.
It definitely within my lifetime. Like when that came across the board, I was absolutely gobsmacked. I was
Hmm.
speechless. Like, and I'm in Ontario, so I mean, it's not a close threat, but just
Right,
to, and I hate to say this because I have a lot of friends in the States, but that's the type of thing that happens in the States. It doesn't happen in Canada.
right, yeah,
And I kind of slapped up myself on the hand and was like, I guess I'm never going to say that again. Like, and I still sit here today talking to you going like, did that really happen? And it really happened. It's awful. It's horrific.
yeah. I hate to say it, but I feel like at least me personally, we've kind of become numb to those things. Um,
Yes.
like obviously, unless it happens to like someone you know personally,
Hmm.
like so many of those have happened. And in California, especially, I think is probably where it happens most frequently. So it is in my vicinity, at least close by. But it's been happening for 20 years at least now,
Hmm.
and it's just I'm
It's
not gonna say
insane.
it doesn't get any easier hearing about it, but
No,
it's
the
a little
loss of
numbing.
life should always cause us to
Yeah,
check ourselves. And I'll probably do this throughout talking to you, and I do it through all conversations. I am 7 years out of religion and working more of a spiritual relationship,
gotcha.
and working through the human thumbprints of the things that I was taught. But one of the things that I was taught in my younger years that I've held on to is it is better to be in a house of mourning than it is rejoicing.
Okay.
And because when there's mourning like that, if that doesn't cause you to stop and think, my friend, I don't know what will.
Right.
And that's literally as far away, and I mean it's farther from you, it's closer to me, but it's still not close enough for me to be, and I was I had a bad habit, and it's 2 weeks out of my habit,
Hmm.
like I'm so blessed to be Canadian and to have gun laws and have that security.
Right.
Well, I guess there goes that out the window, doesn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, I know Trudeau kind of cracked down on assault rifles, I believe.
Yes, he did.
So hopefully I don't know. I don't know what it's gonna do.
Hopefully he's turned a new leaf and he's going to start doing stuff.
Hmm. I haven't been keeping up with your guys's political system. Is he not really
I am
seen as
proud
very
to be
well?
a Canadian.
Uh
He
huh.
is my prime minister,
Hmm.
and there's nothing I can do about it, except support him. There's some things that he ran his campaign on that we have yet to see.
Gotcha.
And a huge one is Aboriginal issues. We have yet to see that. But I'm going to be honest with you, Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
The right wing and the left wing belong to the same bird, and those wings get flapping and nothing gets done.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter who you vote for.
That is something I've come to the realization of very recently. It's unfortunate.
It is.
But I guess
so. The best we can do is smile and work with each other, like on this basis.
Yes, on it.
You're one of the first people I connected with on TikTok, and I'm literally sitting here looking at your sticker right now.
Nice.
And I look at it every day.
Nice.
And it's just that reminder that I matter and other people matter. And it's important to stay mindful, stay aware, and help each other through this and any other day.
I agree. We can't rely too much on the government or the media, or it's got to be community more on an individual basis, and the community that surrounds you, like in your your actual vicinity, in your someone you can connect with physically, or actually like get on the phone with and talk to. That's what matters more than whatever political agenda they have up there.
I know I posted a TikTok like, what if they make us stay inside? Because I do watch Handmaid's Tale or Handmaiden Tale. I always say it wrong. And no joke, I learned this all started to happen and they called the state of emergency. I'm like, because a lot of people don't realize what the extent of that was. And I remember saying to my sister, I'm like, do you realize like they can literally force us to stay inside?
Yeah.
And or literally come in and say, like, we need your house. You're going to have to go somewhere else. And
they have a lot of
it's
power.
crazy. They do when they say that it's a state of emergency. There's a lot that comes into play that a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah.
And that's why when people weren't heeding at first, I was like, goodness gracious, please.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are, I don't know, they just go with whatever they're told as opposed to kind of thinking for themselves,
Yeah.
But I guess that's kind of, I feel like there's, I don't know, I don't want to get too deep into conspiracy theories and stuff, but I've got my own thoughts on that where,
We'll do that on our own time.
Yeah. We might be brainwashed, but I'll leave it at that. I know. I get it.
Spoon-fed.
Mm-hmm. There you
go. We tend to drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay. One more question that might be... No, I think it's okay. But it kind of stems what's going on with the virus. But...
Jacob, are you trying to depress me?
This is going to be the most negative podcast. No, I'm just kidding. Your healthcare system. That's where I'm going. Because we don't have a healthcare system like you do. I think it would be interesting to hear how, if the virus has changed the way like your urgent care system works, or wait times. I know there's a lot of things. It's a big thing that people bring up when talking about universal healthcare is the wait times.
And this is literally what shocks me. There's not that much difference.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
There is not. And I love it when people say, oh, you guys have free healthcare. No, we don't. We pay taxes.
Right.
We do not have free healthcare. We pay taxes. Every working citizen pays taxes, and that's what pays for our healthcare. And as a Canadian, and I have, like I said, I have a lot of American friends, and there's just this one that went up in arms when Obama was doing what he was trying to do, and then was so happy when we won't say his name because it gets said too much, starts undoing all that. And I literally was like, how why do you feel like, let's use your terms, free healthcare is so much different than yours? Literally, the only difference is our hospitals are on literally lockdown. People can't go in like we used to before this pandemic happened. They're being mandated just like your hospitals are. And we're struggling to keep protective gear for our frontline workers. Like, we have the same issues. And it's not, and literally the only thing that's different, in my opinion, Jacob, is the fact that we pay ours through taxes and you guys pay them individual and through your, we still have to get insurance through work and stuff like that.
Okay.
But literally, and I described this to her, I said, if you were to come to our hospital, you would get care no matter who you are, no matter if you're, and that should pause that, because we even have programs that aren't covered under healthcare that hopefully you have the right insurance that'll cover it.
Interesting.
And if your insurance doesn't cover it, hopefully you have a fat bank account that can get you into that trial run.
Dang.
So,
I think there's a lot of misconceptions for sure.
There is, yeah.
So it's not like a single payer, like one size fits all type of thing. You guys have different programs.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. I was very ignorant about that.
But I mean, like I said to her, the only thing is no matter if you have the money or not, you will get your basic care needs met.
I think that's the most important thing.
100%.
There's a story that I heard about, someone, a very young person in California, not having insurance and then getting, I believe, this virus and not getting the treatment because they didn't have the insurance.
And that's what's bothersome to me, because that wouldn't happen in Canada. Now, in saying that, not just anybody can go get tested either.
Right.
It's not like, hey, y'all got free healthcare. Everybody flood the hospital, get tested, make sure you don't have it. That hasn't happened because it's not allowed to happen. Right now we're at the stage of, if you're a frontline worker and you do show symptoms, bam, you're getting tested.
Okay, that's good. I think that's been the biggest issue in my eyes, is the lack of testing just across the board. Like throughout pretty much the whole world, there's not a lot of countries that have really been on top of testing.
No, not. Yeah, I agree. And even here, even with our quote unquote free health system, not everybody got tested. And
do you guys have like drive-through
let me
testing?
say, like, no, I believe they literally, you just go to the hospital and they'll test you. Like, they have it all. They took one of our high schools that got closed down, and they've got that all set up just in case. And thank goodness, touch wood, knock on wood, we haven't had to. Yeah,
that's good though. That's good. Yeah, I know they were setting up things like that here as well. We have like a convention center in town. I think it ended up being used for the homeless. We have kind of a big homeless problem here. I feel weird calling it a problem, but there's a lot of homeless here, and obviously they're at risk. So convention center closed, so let's put them in there and keep them safe. So yeah, there's a lot of things like that where things that are closed down are being used as precautionary measures, just in case this was to get worse than it seems to have gotten.
Right.
So yeah. Anyways, I think we've touched on a lot of negative issues. Let's
a lot of. Now that we've dealt with the gloom and doom of today's society,
let's run into the positivity aspect of life right now. I think the main thing that drove me to wanting to do a podcast with you is just seeing how positive and loving and accepting you are. And there's this theme that I see on your social media about something about unicorn. Is that something you can explain a little bit more?
I have always, I don't know, I have always had a fascination with unicorns. TikTok, the forum that we actually met on, I was introduced to before the pandemic even hit, but I never posted. I was always nervous and oh my goodness. And if you're listening and you don't have TikTok,
Yes,
please
that's
go
the
get
spot
it.
right
You
now.
will. No, I'm just kidding. That is the
Hmm.
hot spot. Um, and it's crazy because like I'm 42,
No
and it's
way.
like, why am I on this thing? I Jacob says, no way. I'm 100. That's where the 77 comes from.
Oh,
But
okay,
I've always had a fascination with
okay.
unicorns, and it's it's
Hmm.
magical, it's whimsical, it's now I learned something about unicorns on TikTok that I will not discuss here with this
Fair
team
enough.
today, but it's caused me to hesitate to wear my unicorn
Oh
hat
no.
when I do TikToks.
Oh no.
It's a little bit scary because I'm not used to putting, I'll be honest with
Hmm.
you, Jacob. TikTok has been the first form for me to fully be
Yeah,
myself on. And it was important for me to do that with this app because I had never done it anywhere else. And 7 months ago, I just came out of the closet.
gotcha.
Ta-da! I'm here,
Congratulations.
and thank you
Hmm.
very much. A lot of people have been like, "Oh, isn't it awesome to be free?" And I'll be honest with you, I always accepted myself. I always felt accepted by
Hmm.
God. Not so much by society and some loved ones.
Gotcha.
And people have said, like, how do you keep such a secret? It wasn't a secret to me. I dream of a day, Jacob, everybody just gets to be accepted for who they are. And we do away with the labels. I was actually laughing with somebody, my niece, the other day, because we were talking about, what I've faced since I have taken that step. And I said, it bothers me how many labels people want to put on my
No,
forehead. Are you this? Are you that? Are you this? I'm like, I'm
just
just
a
me.
human being.
I'm
Yeah.
just me doing this journey the best I know
Yep.
how. And so when it comes to the whole unicorn thing, for me, it has to do with just the magical and the whimsicalness of it that I believe we all have if we would just, like
Be vulnerable.
this time has
Hmm.
afforded us.
Yep.
Exactly. Just to slow down, hear your thoughts, be able to deter the bad
Yep.
ones, and bring forth the good ones.
Absolutely.
It's the power of the unicorn.
I love it. That's perfect. That's amazing. Thank you for
Yes.
sharing that. It seems like it's a recent and personal thing. So I appreciate you putting that out there because I
It
know
is.
you can
Thank
inspire
you.
people. Um,
That's what I'm
yep,
trying to
just by
do.
sharing your story. That's all it really takes. You can be very inspirational.
Yes, I agree. I
That's
agree.
great. I have noticed your TikToks are very they're fun to watch. They're you don't hold back, and I love that. And it's interesting because I watching them, I wouldn't have known that this is something new for you, expressing yourself in this way. So,
It's expressing myself
hmm,
isn't. I was in the ministry for a long, long
okay,
time. When I tell you I wasn't knee deep in religion. I was immersed. Um, some people have said, "Do you feel like you were in a cult?" Da 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 da. If you read the definition of a cult, it's pretty
interesting.
close. I like to firmly say that I believe I was indoctrinated, absolutely. And 7 years out, almost eight, I still struggle with those little seeds that were
Hmm.
planted.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Um, but every day gets better. And even while I was in, I've got to tell you, like I said, I always felt accepted by God, and it never was, like, how do I feel okay and 100% loved in the presence of God? And now when I say God, let me put this out there because I don't know who
Hmm.
listens. I think we're all raised in different cultures and in different ways, and it's crazy how, like, what's that saying about there's many paths to the mountain.
Right.
There's a proverb or something that's put out there like that, and it's crazy how each individual man-made religion will say, nope, there's only one way.
Mm,
And how one religion will be like, it's so funny that a guy rode on a horse into the heavens, but it wasn't funny that a guy got swallowed by a whale. That's believable. Like, and we'll pit each other against each other, but yet at the top of everything, like fundamentally, the values are the same: loving one another and loving your neighbor and coming together. But then it's like you get in and it's like I don't see that really. And if that's what we are, why are we saying, okay, you can come but you can't? I don't believe in that. I don't. And I'll be honest with you, I have not fully figured out everything I believe. I think I'm still in the shedding and trying to not say, you'd be amazed how many people get turned off by the word God. And that's why I always say, like, understand that's how I was raised. You might call, a higher power. I believe there is an ultimate supreme energy up there that created us and lives in us and wants to work through us and is rooting for us and wants us to be unicorns and embrace our inner selves. And we weren't created to all march to the beat of the same drum. We just weren't. But yet every seemingly, a lot of things want us to do that. They want us to put us in that box. And it's times like this we realize, I know me, I'll never forget the day I was like, I lived in a box for so long, and then it's like, the box really doesn't exist.
Right.
And once you correlate that, it's touchy for me when you get talking about religion, and sometimes I will steer away from it because I don't have a good opinion of it. Because of what I've personally been through. And in saying that, I would never say anything bad because I drew a lot of good from it too. So for me, it's just taking what life gives you, and it's more so how you react to it. There's things that are out of our control. Who knew in 2020, when we're supposed to have clear vision, this would be our year? This is going to swallow up the majority of our year. And the only thing we can do is react to it. And how we react to it ultimately affects our true selves, our spirits, and it affects our vibe and how we interact with each other. And it's so, so, so important to make sure and be mindful that we're doing the right thing when it comes to that.
Wow, that was very profound. That was great. No, I agree with you, like, pretty much on all counts. I think you're right, just about, some of these man-made religions, saying this is the way it should be done, when it should be more free and accepting of all people coming from all backgrounds. And you're right, it really is how you react. And this year is pretty much the epitome of examples of that, of things are out of your control. You never know what's going to happen. The only thing you can control is how you react, just like you said. So you're spot on. I think you've got some wisdom that is.
It's 42, Jacob.
I would have never thought. Really, that's crazy.
That's why I wear the unicorn hat. So you can't wear my gray. You can't see my COVID hair.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
I understand now because of the wisdom part. That it makes sense. You understand a lot of that you've been through enough to like share your wisdom and teach people. I don't want to say the right way to live, 100%. But like you get it. Like you understand.
That's just it. My way to live might not be yours, Jacob, and that's okay. Because you know what, I think our two purposes in life are probably a little bit similar, but I don't fully know what your purpose is. That's between you and your journey and your spiritual journey and affecting. I actually posted a TikTok the other day. It really hit me that a lot of us get stuck in having this human being experience, and we will pick up the things that happen to us. And somebody had said to me, like, I can't wait till one day I have the bravery to be you. And Jacob, I don't feel brave at all. I just came out at 42.
Right.
But in saying that, heck yeah, that was brave. It's still scares me to fluidly talk about that and the things that I've been through. But I hope by putting myself out there little by little, and I'm not even joking, I was like, oh my goodness, I think I need to tell him I can't do this podcast. But I was like, no, this is when you came to me, one, I was honored, Jacob, because I saw you on TikTok and I thought, man, this guy's got it. He gets it. And I followed you, and then you sent me this sticker, and I was just like, this guy's got something, and I like it, and just everything I've seen of you and your whole, deleting social media for 30 days. Dude, I don't think I can do that. But it's like you're putting yourself out there in a way, and I would surmise that you're younger than me, right? But yet it's I'm learning from you. I literally am. And I think that's how it's supposed to go. And I think that's why we shouldn't all put ourselves in a box and march to the beat of the same drum, because we all have different purposes and there's different reasons for that. Yep. And doesn't matter your age, experience is key. And somebody has said, like, I can't wait to be, that's what I was, sorry, I got off on a tangent. I can't wait to be like you. And I was like, oh, honey, I don't want you to have to go through what I've been through. Just stand up right now in your authentic place and be you, because that's the true magic of it.
100%. No. And I appreciate all your kind words. And especially you thinking that I have it kind of figured out, but I'm very much lost.
Isn't that crazy?
It really is. That's kind of, you're opening my eyes to this, because I look to a lot of people. I kind of mirror what I do on TikTok and what I'm trying to do with this positivity stuff and these challenges, like you said, deleting social media. None of that is my original idea. It's, it comes from, other people that I look up to, and I'm like, I would like to be like them. I would kind of like to live how they live. I see eye to eye with their values. So I try to mirror them, and, as good as that can be, it can also kind of get you stuck a little bit, because you're not really, like you said, you're not meant to be like anyone else. You have to accept you and your journey. So I think you hit it pretty much, nail on the hammer, or whatever that saying is. You got that one, and you got me really thinking. I don't think I have life figured out.
But I think that's the important.
But that's okay.
No one does. Jacob, you've never been exactly. Yep. Thank you. I'm clapping for you right now. Nobody does, and that's why nobody has the right to stand in front of you or around you and say, like, you need to do life like this.
Yep.
You need to be like this. You need the pressure we put on ourselves and just unduly without even thinking. A lot of things that I in my life I did Sunday school ministry and youth ministry, and I think because I knew I couldn't fully be me, not even with my own family, let alone my church family, that sadly to say, like, people I'd known my whole life, we just don't talk anymore. To see, we're all entitled to have our own beliefs, I believe. And I think we need to learn to accept that. But beyond that, we need to learn that that's not for everybody, and that's okay.
Very true.
Yeah.
I think for me personally, like I said, I try to mirror myself through other people and what it's not even people that are talking directly to me. It's me, feeling like I'm lost a little bit. So I go out and I search, I watch videos, and like I said, people that I look up to. And there's a lot of different points of view, but somehow by the luck of the draw, I find this one person and their point of view, and it sticks with me. and I try to just mirror
Exactly.
my life around
Yeah.
theirs and, recreate it. And I
100%.
think that's where we need to be
And
careful. There's a lot of people that, have lived life with, or have just gone through different experiences. So don't limit
right.
yourself to trying to be like one person, just
I think our experiences are what make
absolutely.
us ultimately. And like you're saying, like I love how you keep saying, I'm
Mm-hmm.
lost. Uh, I don't feel like I'm
Mm-hmm.
lost. I think right now I'm on a discovery of who I am because for religious reasons and upbringings, I was put in this box and meant, told to march to the beat of this drum. And what people ultimately loved about me, they were like, ooh, we can't give her too much wiggle room because, she's one of those free thinkers.
Mm-hmm.
She's one of those wild ones. And I firmly believe, looking back now, they saw it, they knew it. Um, and like I said, I'm thankful and grateful for everything I have been through because it's
Yep.
made me who I am. It's made me be so accepting. And when I'm positive, when I say, positivity isn't about having all the answers and always being happy. It's not. I love how people say, are you a half glass half full person or a glass
Mm-hmm.
half empty? Quite honestly, Jacob, I'm thankful for anything that's in my glass as long as I have
Yep.
that glass.
It's interesting you
And
bring that up.
and
I just did one of these podcasts with my friend's little brother. So he's 16, and the way he looks at that analogy is if his glass is half empty, then filling it up motivates him.
mm,
If his glass is half full,
100%.
it's an opportunity for him to be grateful for what he does have. I thought that was really interesting.
And that's a
That's a
16 year
16-year-old.
old. That's a
Yeah,
16-year-old. That excites me for our
absolutely
future.
does.
It
Yep,
does 100%. I'm props to
absolutely.
him because that's amazing. And there you go. That's that just added to that perspective of my life. And he's 16, and that's why I don't know. Like we discount so many learning
Yep.
experiences, and that's why I love what you're doing about this. I didn't fully know what you were doing about it, but as you were introducing, I was like, wow, that's really
Hmm.
cool, and
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like if I never would have took this route to try to, stay connected with people during this, isolating time, then we would have never had this conversation, and you wouldn't have opened my eyes to everything that you've said. And there's a lot of other people that I've talked to
And
that they open my eyes to other aspects of life and other ways of thinking. So I think it's great.
we get to decide what we take and what we don't, and that's okay. And I say that to people. I had somebody inbox me and be like, I have a friend XYZ, I don't know how to
Hmm.
handle it. And I said it was a bad relationship. And I was like, well, from learned experiences, and I always tell everybody, I am not a
Hmm.
psychologist. I am not a counselor of any sort. I am living this journey just like you. I've been through experiences, and I'm just trying to share some things that have helped me through.
Right.
And I said the best thing you can do is just be there.
Yep.
Just be there. That's it. Don't tell them what to do. Don't, by all means, don't allow, something awful to happen. But I mean, I've been in that situation, and my mother had a very volatile marriage, and that's a whole nother
Hmm.
story. And you could never, there was just no talking about leaving, and everybody has their
Right.
reasons. And that's why I just said, just be there for them. If they're talking to you, that is awesome. That's amazing. They obviously are going through a process themselves. And I think ultimately that's what we're all here to do is go through a process.
100%.
You're not lost. You're trying to discover yourself. You've never been in this day
Right.
before, Jacob. Neither have
Right.
I. So whatever's to come is going to teach us or not. It's our choice.
100%. Yeah. And in terms of
Mm-hmm.
your friend having some problems, we all try our best, to try to help everyone through their problems. But even if it is a similar issue that they're going through that maybe you went through, your advice might not save them. As gloomy as that sounds, it really is
Mm,
just
it's true.
being there for them, like you said. And yeah, you can't force your advice on them. So just that lending an ear is probably the easiest and best.
The best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Because I think the for me, and again, it's just a mechanism. Probably the the most rewarding thing that I've done in my life, and I'm not a master of meditation. I am not a guru of any sorts, but it's becoming that observer of your life. I think there's good and bad in everything, yin
Yep.
and yang, and light and darkness, and true self and ego self, Eckhart Tolle. Um, and literally going, okay, these are both parts of me. And if I become the observer, then I can start dimming down the ego self and its control of me and allow myself to be my true self. So the best thing we can ever work out is to become the observer of our lives. Learn to listen to ourselves, and I think learn to listen to other people, and we'll actually
Yep.
learn something.
Absolutely. And you brought up meditation. I think that's something that I just picked up recently, and it has it's great. Like it allows you, like you said, to really quiet the noise and just
Mm,
be with your thoughts and understand, you can get really deep down into like your core beliefs and who you really are, why you do the things you do, and you can learn a lot about yourself just from, you know, laying there, being still. Yep.
being still.
Yeah.
It's between the stillness and the noise
Yep.
that you find yourself. The noise is never going to go away. And I one of my friends was just like, I wish I could meditate. Well, you
Yep.
can. It's a practice. Oh, I can't. I only last for 30 seconds in my mind. I know people that only
Yep.
last for 5 seconds. It's literally bringing yourself back,
Yeah.
and that's what the breathing is about is, okay, your mind's going to wander, bring
Yep.
yourself back to that breath, because you got to work past that noise, through the noise is not going anywhere. Work
Mm-hmm.
past that noise in between and oh, you're right,
It really
it's a
is.
breath of fresh air,
It
for
really
lack
is.
of a better way to
I
say it.
for
Yeah, it's nice to know yourself.
Right. For anyone that maybe is like you said about your friend, not thinking they're good at meditation or whatever the case. I kind of went through. I did a month where I meditated for an hour every day after like not even
Mm,
meditating hardly ever in my life before. So that forced me to learn, different ways or different things about meditation in general. So for all the beginners, I recommend
mm-hmm.
downloading Headspace, the app, meditation app. They have a beginner's course that
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
really, they break it down really well, and all the everything that you think about meditation, like why it won't work or any of that type of stuff. They do a good job countering that and really breaking down why it's beneficial for you, no matter who you are or where you come from. So I recommend that app,
I
100% beginner's
agree.
course. And then once you realize that meditation is for everyone and it can really help you, the other app I use is Insight Timer. So it has a lot of free meditations
Ah,
on there. I noticed Headspace, it's kind of limited until you maybe purchase their plan on there, but Insight Timer is
yeah. They
exactly.
get you at some
Insight Timer I
point.
haven't had to pay yet, and I think they advertise like
Mm.
they say 32,000 free meditations or something like that. Like it's the biggest
Oh,
library of
wow.
stuff by far.
That's
Yeah.
huge.
Oh,
I use
interesting.
Spotify. Yeah, they have a lot of
That's
a
not a
lot of
bad
good
option
ones
either.
on
I had like I use Apple Music,
there.
but I know they have some meditations on there too. Is yours more just
Hmm.
like maybe songs or sounds, or is it guided meditations?
I
Okay.
have found guided. There's some
Mm-hmm.
like for beginners. There's
Gotcha.
unguided meditations. There's they'll like you. They have podcasts, and I'm not
Yeah.
against Apple. Like I have Apple products, but I
Yeah.
love my Spotify,
I just never
and
transitioned over
yeah,
there because I had, iTunes to start. Like
yeah. that was I
Hmm.
hesitated at first
Yeah,
too
just
because of
convenient
that.
staying on Apple Music, I
But
think. But maybe I haven't looked enough into it, but I haven't seen any guided meditations, and that's my thing, is guided meditations.
you
Okay,
do have some, and now I recommend buying
gotcha.
Spotify. So I mean, you can
Hmm.
use Spotify for free. It's 100% free, but they have commercials, and
We
we
sure do.
all hate commercials. And there's nothing like now breathe in and then boom, a commercial.
$500 off your discount tires, whatever. Yep.
Right?
That would definitely interrupt my meditation.
But yeah, I have found everything. And what I like about Spotify too is you can find a whole, list, but if only 3 of them work for you, you can literally
Oh
save
yeah,
them to your Spotify and mix and match and kind of create a playlist that
that's
works
really
for you.
interesting because that's kind of something maybe I just haven't explored enough on Insight Timer, but creating a playlist that I can come back to
Hmm.
would be really nice. I know I can like save things, but
Hmm.
typically when I go back on there, I just end up searching like for a new one, and it's kind of,
The
yeah,
good old
you
search
never know what
engine.
you're gonna get.
But I find that, see, for me, I can't use this. Like, I
Hmm.
can use it again, but I can't use the same. Like, there's days that I need guided
Hmm.
meditation,
That
medication.
too, shoot. Yep.
That too, right? But we'll leave last name's conversation out of this, Jacob. But there's some days that I'm in that place where I'm good to just
Yeah.
have like the sounds and the frequencies to
Right.
work me through it. So that's why I like Spotify
Gotcha.
and I'm
This is
endorsing
like turning into an ad for
Spotify.
Spotify. That's okay though.
And
Yeah,
Apple,
yeah.
let's not
We
forget
gave Apple some
Apple.
credit.
Apple is good.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I think and people think of meditation like complete silence sometimes, or just like ringing bells, but there's so many different forms of meditation. It's insane.
So many. And whatever works for you, it's literally, and I said this,
Hmm.
the breathing, just being still and being able to breathe. I love earbuds because you can have the
Yep.
whole house buzzing around you and literally go out to the deck with my earbuds and
Yep.
just
Yeah, or even if
breathe.
you're like, you're heading to work and you're dreading it, or you're coming home from a long day at work and you're on the bus or something, there's a bunch of loud people. Pop your
Agreed.
headphones in and
Yes.
listen to a meditation. Yep.
100%. And one day I hope to aspire to the master of meditation, Jacob, and do like that
That
whole
was,
hour.
I don't know if I recommend it, to be honest. So like the first week I dove into it, and I feel like that was, there was like a learning curve where I just learned a ton and I really enjoyed it. But then after 2, 3 weeks, like it started to feel like
Right.
a chore because I was forcing myself to do an
Uh-huh.
hour every day, and I didn't need that by like the second or third week. I had learned what I needed to learn, and I had realized,
Hmm.
15 to 20 minutes is a good time for me. Um, so doing, an hour, 60 minutes every day, it was too much. But
It is.
for some people, they do
Hmm.
they do
And
less.
that's why I said to my friend, if you literally can give 5 minutes, and she was like, "Oh, I did it for 3 minutes and then I just gave up." I said, "Okay, but what did you do last week?" And she's like, "I didn't." I said, "There you go.
Hmm.
Celebrate that." And that's what we don't do enough of that either, is celebrating those
Yep.
little small steps that ultimately build us up. And for me, I like to switch it up. Like, I'll do like a morning meditation where I'm just still with my coffee and just the
Gotcha.
frequency sounds. And maybe if I've got more time, I'll do a guided
There you go.
maybe I need medication. There's that.
You're subconsciously telling yourself.
But have you ever
Hmm.
tried a Himalayan singing
No,
bowl?
I have not. My friend's really into singing
So
bowls, but um,
get yourself one and just hold it, and you would be, no joke, when the guy was trying to sell it to me, I was like,
right.
okay. But I was like, it's not
Okay.
that expensive, and I kid you not, there's actually a guy I
Oh,
found on TikTok that actually does um literally teaches like little 60
Right.
second, snippets of how to do it. And he's upped my game, that's for
So for
sure.
those, you just kind of, there's like some type of instrument that you like, you rub along like the edge of it, right? Okay,
Yep. I think there's
gotcha.
crystal ones too. There's a different. There's
Yep,
so many things out there, Jacob. To
yep.
not do something, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
ignorance. Pardon me. Sorry for the stutter. Ignorance in
Sure.
2020 is a choice. It is
There's
absolutely a choice. There is too many
information is
outlets out
endless,
there,
100%.
and music is great, and dancing. Oh my goodness! Just turn the music on and
That is
dance
very
and get those
therapeutic.
vibrations up. I have a percussion box that I love to just beat the crap out of. Like, turn on the
Yep,
music and just,
100%.
yeah. Whatever works for you,
Yeah,
find your niche and do it. I support it. I embrace it. Let's celebrate each other. Let's grow with each other. Let's
perfectly
conquer
well
this
said,
thing.
100%. Like, you never really know. Like, if you're just gonna go through life, kind of, oh, this doesn't work for me. This doesn't work for me. And then, you get to a point where you just
Mm-hmm.
stop trying things. That's where people mess up, I think.
Mm.
You know, there's there's something for
They
you.
stop the
Like,
doing.
you just can't give up. You just gotta keep
Mm-hmm.
keep going at it.
Yeah. And be creative. That's so I said that to somebody. They're like, I can't draw. I'm like, that's why I burn everything I paint. I'm not that creative, but in that moment when
Hmm.
you've got the paints and you can be messy. There's, again, we're endorsing TikTok too. There's a guy on TikTok that literally just pokes holes in the bottom of a paint
And just,
can and
yeah, on like
just
a pendulum,
throws it
right?
and lets it go on the canvas. And I was like, dude, Jacob, I got a tarp for my floor. I got a string
Oh,
for
I'm
my
ready to see
fan.
that.
I'm
Definitely.
trying
I saw
that.
someone doing that with a water bottle. You don't even need to like go all out with all the paint supplies. Yep.
There, see,
People are super
there
creative.
you go. It's 100%, and that's what makes me sad when you hear about the school
Ugh,
system cutting the arts.
can't
It's
do
like,
that.
no, let's not,
Yeah,
let's
unfortunately, it's whatever
not.
makes money for
But
them, right?
yeah,
Whatever brings in the big bucks.
uh, there. Now you
Yep,
just hit the
yep.
nail on the head.
I know all too well, unfortunately.
That's the ultimate.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate problem.
That's how it is in a lot of industries too, not even just education. I mean, even in our, I don't know how it is up there, but our
Mm-hmm.
healthcare system, yeah, people,
Oh,
they push
100%.
what makes money, surgeries and prescription medication. What
Mm-hmm.
doesn't make money? Mental health, therapy
Mm-hmm.
sessions. So
Ah.
I know all too well about that,
Oh my.
unfortunately. Yeah, we don't have to go
Oh
too much into
my.
detail, but just wanted to drive through my point there.
I
Yeah, yeah, it's
100%
a
agree with you.
it's an interesting little system that has been concocted here throughout the last however many
Mm-hmm.
generations. And I was gonna say, figuring out a way to dismantle that would be great, but I think, there's stuff that's just out of your control. So just being in your own happy world and
Mm-hmm.
letting other things be as they may is probably the best approach, I think.
I
Yeah.
100%, 100% agree. It's
Mm-hmm.
our reacting to it. It's our that it's
Yep.
crap's gonna happen. And I said this to somebody. I I get so frustrated that people don't validate
Mm.
their own emotions, their own feelings. Do you know? And of course, my female friends, oh, I'm just too
Mm.
sensitive. Stop saying that. Like, and I
Yeah.
get it can get to a bad point, but it's not even like you're literally getting upset at yourself because you're being emotional. And if we would learn to just, again, it comes
Yep.
back to sitting and being still and feeling that emotion. Where's it coming from? What triggered this? What made this happen? Is this go deeper? No. Okay. It's just, it is what it is. How can I
Right.
grow from this? Okay, I'm sad. I'm going to cry. Okay, I'm angry. I'm going to do something healthy. Emotion is not good or bad. It's
Mm.
what you do with that emotion that becomes the good or the bad. I can be angry. Like I just ended a long-term relationship, and my friends are like, "Why are you not more mad?" And I'm like, "I am.
Hmm.
Don't think I'm not. I'm just choosing to do it in a healthy way so that I come out at the end of the tunnel. Be your own light." That's the whole thing. I think too many times we're waiting to see that light at the end of the tunnel. Honey, sweetheart, baby, you are that light. And the tunnel, like the box, doesn't really exist. So as long as it's there and it's going to seem windy and it's going to seem dark, you're going to make it through. It gets better. You will be okay just for the duration.
Yep.
Be kind
Yeah.
to yourself. And
100%.
yeah.
No, I don't even have anything to add to that because you nailed it. Seriously.
I learned that from Jacob
I
on
don't know
TikTok.
about that. You're too kind. My TikToks are all over the place. I don't know.
So are mine. Mine are crazy. Mine
It's
are
just fun.
crazy. But yeah, somebody had said it is. It is. It's a fun way.
Oh,
I did my
really?
first live this morning. I
Hmm.
I didn't know how to do it. I hit 1,000 and I was like, oh my goodness, I get to do
What do
lives.
I
And then the
do?
panic sets in. Like, how do I do that? And I'm like, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to, you know. And so this morning I was just going through TikTok and I was like, I saw the live and I was like, oh, I'm going to do it. My coffee wasn't even made. And I'm like, I'm going to do it. And I literally said, I'm doing my TikTok. And I did. I got on there and it was just, because everybody was like, you know, I want to know more
Yeah.
about your story. It's hard
Yeah.
in 60 seconds
Sure is.
to put it all out there. So yeah, so it was a
You
TikTok
had some
triumph
people
for
in
me
there you were
today.
kind of talking with. That's awesome.
We did. I think at one point somebody said
Dang.
I was up to
I don't think
17.
I haven't done that very
Yeah.
much. You know, I think for me, I probably overthink the stuff that I put out, and so there's a lot of trial and error and like editing, and I need to just be
Uh-huh.
more one take because live is nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
They're gonna see you mess up.
Live is. It is. And I was in my onesie, my bed head, and my coffee, and I told
I
them,
think
like, we're
that's
just
yep.
having coffee. I literally wanted to do 20 minutes, and
Oh
I think we were
dang.
there for about an hour. And I was like, guys, you guys aren't leaving, so I have to leave.
Oh man, that's the best when time flies
Yeah.
like that. You're having fun. You are having fun.
Oh, I
So you were just
agree.
kind of talking to people
100%.
that were maybe typing
100%.
in the chat. Is that kind of how it went?
Yeah, like, and that was my prayer. Like, God, do not
Mm-hmm.
let me get bombarded. I got 1,000. I got a
Right.
1,000 friends
You're
now on
famous.
TikTok, Jacob. I'm
That's the crazy
famous.
thing. Like how famous you
I
can get
said
on
that
TikTok.
somebody actually came at me like that. Ah, please. It's like getting rich in
You're right.
Monopoly.
You're right.
I've been there many a
That's
times.
very true.
Right? So exactly, it's
Yep.
not about that for me. I like the intimacy of this, and that's one of it's. I've been asked to do this a couple of times, and I've just
Mm-hmm.
been like, nope, nope, nope. And when you asked, I was just like, yeah. And
Yep.
I mean, I was hesitant at first. I think you felt it, and then I was like, no, I'm going to do this. He's a cool cat. I like his content. I like
Well,
what
I
I've seen.
appreciate that.
Yeah,
I
let's
really
do
do. That
this.
was,
And
I don't know,
yeah,
I was kind of going out
it's
on a whim there. Just trying to find people that, either I can learn with
it was
or
a
I
good
can
win.
align with. Either way, I'm having a good time. I'm learning something,
Oh,
whatever it is.
that's a great.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Yes, that's great.
yep.
I want to learn from you or align from you, and I said that to somebody. Like, they're like, "Oh, I was shocked that you followed me back," and I was like, I just think that's a nice thing to do. And if you actually start putting crap
Yeah.
content out there, I'll probably
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
unfollow you.
Simple
But we'll
enough.
deal with that when it comes. Because I don't think we pay enough attention to that either, Jacob. It's like who we
Yep.
surround ourselves with
Yep.
and what we're watching
I've
and
thought
what we're
about that
listening
before.
to
Kind of,
matters.
we're all on social
Yeah.
media a lot. I think it's
Yeah.
inevitable. Like you can try to,
Too
like I
much.
deleted social media or whatever, but it's just that's what it is now. So customizing your feed and, like you said, unfollowing people who maybe you don't want to see their content, whether it's negative or you're just not into it or whatever.
Mm-hmm. That's what I love about Facebook is you can just do the
Interesting.
unfollow. You don't have to unfriend.
That's a little sneaky way to get around it.
Not that if any of my friends are listening to this,
You might want to go check
after
if
we
she
launched it,
unfollowed
I
you.
haven't done that to you.
Just
Jacob,
kidding,
no,
just kidding.
don't put me on blast like that.
Oh man.
Yeah, no. You have to be pretty bad
Yeah.
for me to do that. Like, you literally have to be polluting my... I think it was a talk with Oprah I was watching that she was having with Maya Angelou. Phenomenal woman, and I don't even think her shoes will ever be filled in this world. Somebody that I look to and learn from and still do. I'm talking about Maya Angelou, not Oprah. No, I'm just kidding. I even Oprah, like, legit, her Super Soul Sunday is literally my church. It feeds my soul. And again, she takes all these different people from different walks of life and different avenues that have been through different things and just ask them the same questions, like, what's your idea of God? Who was God to you? And some of the answers are just like, but back to Maya Angelou, she said she was having this party once and this person, I believe it was a racist joke, and she wasn't even part of the conversation. She was just an earshot, and she walked up to the person and handed them their coat and said, "You're going to have to leave, because I'm not going to let you paint my house with your poison," or something to that effect. And I was like, wow, like, when are we going to become
confident,
that kind and caring and confident and respectful of our own space and not let the pollution in? I mean, it's okay to count. What's that word I'm looking for? Campaign for the birds and the whales, and it blows my mind how we will literally, clean our floors with real lemon and give our kids artificial lemon drink, or it's our theories have twisted and turned through time. And when she said that, it was so profound, like, wow. And that was ages ago. I would have been in my 20s when I heard that. And I'm old, Jacob. I'm 42. But the minute I heard it, and that's the thing, like, we have this internal thing that when something happens and it's for us, it sparks. It sparks, it resonates, and we swallow it. And yeah, that did it for me. It really matters
100%.
what you let in your space. It's so important.
That rings true for me. When something that I'm trying to do more often now, very recently I started doing this, is when something really resonates with me like that, I'm starting to literally put a note of it in my notes app on my phone so I can come back to it and just kind of be refreshed, once in a while, or when I need it.
Yes!
It's super important.
Yes!
Super, super important.
Yes!
Yeah.
Do the same thing.
In terms of...
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
100%.
Because reminders matter. And they come in handy. And I'll post a TikTok and somebody will be like, "You're all those things too." And I'm like, thank you. I'm gonna, that was a great reminder. You need a refresher. Once you get to that place where you think, oh, I know it all, chances are you know nothing. And if you ever get to the place where you're not learning, you've stopped living. You've stopped living. And it's like that saying, you can give a man a fish and he'll have a meal, but if you teach him how to fish, he'll never go hungry. And that's literally what you've done for me. Like, and that's what I said. It's not an age thing. And the 16-year-old did for us. He taught us something new.
You gotta put your ego aside.
It's amazing. It is amazing.
It's the biggest thing.
Ooh. Now, come on.
Easier said than done.
That's a hard one for some, right? And again, daily. It literally, and I tried to explain this to somebody that I was talking to, like, don't ever, like, think that... I think 8 years ago, when I first left religion, it was very important for me to lift up the rocks and finally get the answers to the questions that were always in the back of my mind. And it was really really important to me to. It's like you have your truth, I have my truth, but fundamentally, Jacob, there's the truth.
Right.
And it's that truth that matters. And if we can ever get our ego aside and get back to you are a spiritual being
Yep.
first and foremost, having a human being experience. And that doesn't mean, oh, I'm so spiritual.
Yep.
I'm human. And no, I'm not just human. I'm a spirit.
Absolutely.
You gotta find the balance. It's that yin and yang. The balance. The body, the mind, and the soul. And it's crazy because you get somebody that I have this friend that literally he grew up skinny, and then he's on TikTok, Darcy Fierce. He's amazing. He's an amazing young man. And he got into fitness, and good golly, boy, I used to change your
Yeah.
diapers. Do not. Right? But and it's all about the body, and then you get these people that are all about the mind, and then you get these people that
There's
are
a
all about the
balance.
nutrition, and it's like, whoa.
Gotta
There's
find it.
there's probably there you go. There's a balance. Amen. A woman.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's easy to get
All of the above.
pulled into one of those directions too. Yeah, I think there was a time in my life
Agreed.
definitely where I was just really focused on the physical, and because I just wasn't happy with that part of my life.
Mm-hmm. I see that, how
That
you
was the
rip
first
that
time I
apple
ever done
apart. I
that.
saw
And
that.
that was because, no, I'm serious. That girl taught me how to rip an apple.
I don't believe you. That's crazy. I tried it. I failed. I'll be honest. I'll put my failure out there. I wasn't going to do
You
it
gotta
brave on
practice a
like
couple
you did
times. I
on
think you'll get
TikTok.
it.
I was like, I
But
got to
don't
try
waste too
this
many
before.
apples. But yeah, I just
Yeah.
get caught up. There was a time where I got caught up too much in the physical, and then I I guess I became accepting. I got
Right.
to a point where I was more confident with my physical attributes, and then I realized, there's a lot of work still to be done with my mind, and then spirit. So don't get too caught up in one
Mm-hmm.
aspect. Find that balance. I think it's super important. Super important. That's the key.
Amen. I agree.
Yeah.
That's oof. That is the key right there. The key of life
Mm-hmm.
is that, and not just living but thriving. And I think when you get
Yeah,
to
that's where you're gonna
work
find it.
on those, it's
Yep. Absolutely.
you'll begin to discover, hey, I'm not as clumsy as I once thought. I'm not
Oh yeah,
as
by far.
we're the worst on ourselves,
We can
Jacob.
take, what other people say,
Mm-hmm.
really to the heart, but when it comes down to it, we're our worst critic for sure. No doubt about it. Yep, you're right.
And we don't have to pick up on those things. We don't. And I think
Yeah.
we do. And it's almost like we're conditioned to do. Like, legit. I remember having a conversation. Uh, my mother was terminally ill, and she's since passed. But at the end, you get the palliative team that comes in and talks with her. And she said, okay, tell me the truth. Out of all your kids, who's the most well behaved? And she said, Nicole is. And the girl said, "Oh, well, you must be really proud of that." I said, "No, ma'am." I said, I saw what she did to my siblings. There was no way I was messing with that." And it's like, as parents, we often
Oh
you
yeah.
got to be careful. That's probably one of the most hardest roles in life. Not it's probably the most hardest role
Yep.
in life is being a parent, because you are responsible for that life. And how you shape it matters, because the unheard 3-year-old turns into the 30-year-old throwing the temper tantrum in
Yeah.
road rage, honking his horn
Yeah.
and zooming in
I
and
know
out.
I don't
So
I know I'm gonna
yeah,
be hard on myself
yeah.
when it comes time to be responsible for another human being. But I think that's just the way it is, you know. it's gonna be a blessing and definitely,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say a
Mm-hmm.
struggle, but it's not gonna be easy. That's for sure. Right, right, right.
It'll be
You're
new, and
absolutely
there's
right.
no book that'll ever prepare you for it. There's lots of them out there, and you can read every one of them. But when you get that baby, it's like, what? I didn't read this anywhere. Well, fly by the seat of your. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things I ever have had the chance to do.
Mm,
Is my mother and I adopted my goddaughter, and to be able to be like, and I told you I was raised religiously, and she was, she tried the same thing with Ariel, and I was
right.
like, if we're gonna do this together, you're not gonna do that to her, because
Mm,
I can firmly tell you, wearing skirts every day
right.
has nothing to
Yeah.
do with your spiritual life, and to see her evolve like you do. And again, it's another Maya
Mm,
Angelou thing.
I like that.
You do as you know how to do until you know how to do better. And once you know how to do
Yes, you
better,
are.
you're obligated
I'm
and
writing that down.
responsible to
You
do
do how
better.
you know. That was perfect.
Just Google Maya Angelou quotes. The woman is phenomenal. And I think she has a whole poetry thing on that, the phenomenal woman. If you have a
Gotcha.
wife or a
Good to
fiance,
know. Good to
girlfriend, that's one
know.
for her.
Perfect. 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 I'm writing all that
Phenomenal
down.
woman.
I'm not even lying. I have my laptop open right now, and I am taking notes. Okay. Wow. I think we're. I feel like we can do this again for sure. I I was gonna end it on a high note here. I think.
We're good.
I don't know. Did you have anything else that I know I kind of prompted this thing. Yeah.
No, I have enjoyed my
Yeah. I
conversation
think
with you. It was less scarier
I
than I thought.
tried not to.
You didn't go too hard on me. I
Yeah, we
think
did.
we
I don't even know
literally
what I'm gonna
covered
title this.
we covered so many things.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Unicorns and positivity and singing bowls.
You
I'm
call
very
it
happy
whatever
with
you
that.
want, and if it goes no further than you and I am honored, and this was an awesome experience, and thank you
Absolutely. No,
for
I'm very glad that
making it
what
happen.
drove me to do this drove me to do it, and it has it has worked in our favor 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm literally gonna
I'll
have to go
send
back
you
and listen
I'll
to all
send
the
you a
other
link,
ones. I
and
didn't know there was a
they're
theme,
kind of
but
all over the place
I
like
like
this
it.
one, but
I like
I
it.
kind of wrote down what we were talking about, so that should help you kind of with whatever you're interested in, checking out the ones that pique your interest. But I think this one's for everyone. I really do.
Right.
This was a human one, just for all humans.
You know who's for everyone? This
Thank
guy.
you.
Follow him on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook.
Oh man,
If you don't
you
know
are
what
too kind.
Jacob's doing,
Way
you
too
don't know
kind.
what's happening. Now,
Thanks. Now I really got to
no,
show
I
up
just set the
and
bar for you, bud.
and bring it for these people. It really has. 100%.
This has been awesome.
Yes,
I appreciate
absolutely.
you having
Well,
me.
you enjoy the
Thank you
rest of your
kindly.
Sunday. Hopefully, I'll see you on live soon on TikTok. I'll
You
jump in
too.
there in a heartbeat.
Uh,
Okay, okay. I'll try.
stop
I'll
creating the
try. I
pressure. I want
promise.
to see you on live.
All right, Nicole. You too. Bye bye.